Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, whatever time it is in the world for you. Great to be here for our Level Up Your Leadership event. It is 1 week later than we planned. Obviously, had a little bout with the virus last week that knocked me around a little bit, but great to be here with you for the event. And we are going to talk about leadership for the next hour and a half, 2 hours or so. And hopefully, I can deliver a lot of information just to really help you grow your own leadership, build yourself, and then turn that around and build leaders in your organization. So as we kick off, I would love to know where you are, like listening in from, watching in from, where you are in the world, and what time is it as well. So it's 6 a.m. Sunday morning for me here. It's a nice bright and early start for these events for me. It's a kind of like 4:30 a.m. wake up to get the dog run and all settled. But that's the joy of working around from home and around to the world, obviously, is that people are in different time zones all over the place. So yes, we've got Janice from Maui, we've got Salwa from Sydney. So, well, it would be lunchtime, I guess, for you, Janice. It would be morning for you as well. So yeah, 7 a.m., right? 10 a.m. for Janice. We've got Cedric it's 9 p.m. yesterday. There you go. From the Benin Republic. We've got Slovakia. Oh, this is awesome. So great to have everyone listening in and joining in. As I said, we've got Melbourne, Australia as well. So France, great to have a worldwide audience. And as I said, I really want to talk about leadership today and talk to you about how you can grow your own leadership and develop leaders in your team. And with any event, like before you start, before you go anywhere, we always, in the words of Simon Sinek, we always want to know why. Start with why. So before I kind of get into the content, before I get into the training, I'd love to know why you want to learn about leadership. What is it about leadership that's making you want to either stay up till 10 p.m. like some people in Cape Town? Why are you here? And why is leadership so important to you? Now, we do have prizes to give away as well. So, if you're commenting and, you do a really great comment, we'll have a little stop. We'll spin the wheel. We've got some prizes and giveaways to go as well. So make sure you're active. Make sure you're sort of participating, because it makes the event better for me as well, because I can always tailor it best to you. So I'd love to know, again, what it is about leadership itself that's making you want to get up and learn about it, either get up first thing in the morning or stay up late. And what is it about this industry particularly, and leadership in this industry, that's so important to you? So for Janice, it's just in your DNA to be a leader. Now, Janice, we're gonna come back to that later on, definitely. That's a great comment right to start off with, because we're going to come back to a little bit more about that when we look at some of the sort of numbers and looking at leadership as a whole and where they fit into the business. Richard's from the Fraser Coast. Great to see you, Richard. It's a vehicle to run your business. Yes, we need leadership in this business, right? So be professional, lead by example, be the best version of me, inspire others to follow me as well. Build your business in the correct way. They're all incredible, incredible answers. And the second question, just while you're here, while we're active, I'd love to know, and I always love to start any leadership event, I'd always start any leadership speech, or, like when we do 4-week leadership training within our team and all those sorts of things. I love to know, what is leadership to you? What do you think of when you think of leadership? What is it about leadership that excites you again? But if you could describe a leader, what would you describe? I'd love to sort of hear some of the adjectives that you use to describe leaderships. Okay. Inspire. We've got empower. These are great adjectives. Team members look to you. Yeah, so people are looking to you. So we're going to be the example. We have to be the example of our leadership. And again, we're going to talk about that a lot more. Discipline. Yep, I love that. Discipline is a very, very, very big one when it comes to leadership. Leadership's great, but we're sort of held up on a little bit of a pedestal, right? People are looking to us every day, so we have to make sure that we do the same thing. Vision, yep. Teacher, teach people. Foundation, structural, help others grow, so that they're helping others. It's the foundation of our business. I like to think of leaders as innovative. They got work ethic. They care. Okay, these are all awesome. Again, yep, they help people become successful. That's awesome. Thank you, Andrea. Teresa, care about others. Think in solutions. I don't know actually who said that because we're using StreamYard, you have to give it permission. So you've come up as a Facebook user, thinking in solutions. Whoever said that, that was awesome. Cedric, challenge solver. They love a challenge. They lean in to challenges. Helen, yeah, and they change the world. These are all awesome. So again, I'd love to know who said thinking in solutions. I've never heard that, but that's really awesome. Now, before we go any further, one of the coolest things about leadership is that there are so many different ways to lead, right? It's almost hard to actually define what actually is leadership, because as we can see already, we've got 10, 15, 12 different definitions of leadership. So that's a really interesting thing. But this was something that I discovered, sort of 8-9 years ago, maybe 7-8 years ago, when I was really diving into leadership, is that when we look at all these things, very few of them actually have anything to do with the skills of running a business. And this is one of the kind of paradoxes that we have here with leadership, is that we've talked about inspirational, empowering, they set the example, they've got discipline, they're visionary, teaching, yep, certainly, they help others, they care about others, they're agents for change, they lead into a challenge. All of those things that we've mentioned are character traits. They're character traits of a person. Oh, yes. Oh, great to have you on, Maika, because I'm going to talk about you later. You're a perfect example of something I want to talk about later. So thank you for that. Now, look, these are all character traits, right? None of these things have anything to do with running a business specifically in the theoretical form, at least. Now, a little while ago, 6 weeks or so ago, I did like the breakthrough event where we really broke into the theory of building a business. And I'm going to talk about a few things about building a business, but I'm not going to go right deep into that today. You can always go back and watch the replay. I've just loaded it up onto my YouTube channel yesterday, actually. So the replay is up on my YouTube channel. You can buy my book. Obviously, I go deep into the whole nuts and bolts and theory of building a business in my book. But today we're talking a lot about leadership. And as we can see here, leadership is a character-based growth task. Leadership isn't really about what we're doing, but how we're doing it. Now that's awesome, but it also means that it's a bit of a challenge to define and it's a bit of a challenge to quantify. So I want to look at those sort of things first. Now, here's the one thing that's interesting. And I've been teaching leadership, as I said, from Zoom calls within the team, from stage, from virtual stages, from physical stages, in small group masterminds, all that kind of stuff. 6 or 7 years now, really dedicated myself to leadership over the last few years. Not a single person said duplication. Now, what are we taught that is one of the most important things in building a business? It's not what works. It's what duplicates. And we were taught what's one of the most important things about having a business? Systems. And not a single person mentioned systems. So for all this stuff about leadership and why is leadership important and why do we want leaders in our business, not a single person said because they follow systems and they do what they're told and they duplicate. And aren't we taught that it's not what works, it's what duplicates? So which is it? Because we want leaders, but we're also told that make sure everything you do is duplicatable. Everything you do is systemized. Everything you do can be taken by people and duplicated and launched. And they can go off and just launch their own business. So we have this little paradox, right? And this is why leadership fascinates me so much, because is it one or is it the other? Or is it both? And if it's both, how do we define leaders from followers? Because the thing about a leader is that they won't follow. They are pragmatic. They are innovative. They evolve, and they don't follow. A leader, by definition, does not follow. So you can be sitting there saying, why won't anyone follow my systems? And then actually, it's really cool. People say that to me. They're like, no one's following my systems. I'm like, awesome. You've got a team of leaders. Show them how to lead. Or we can be sitting there saying, like, everyone's following my systems. It's awesome. I've got this team where everyone's following the systems. It's incredible. And then you're also going to say, why can't anyone think for themselves? Why isn't anyone stepping up into leadership? So we develop this actual paradox. And that's what I want to talk about really over the next sort of hour and a half or so, where we really look at what do we need from a followership point of view and what do we need from a leadership point of view. So let's start there, and then we'll actually get into kind of defining leadership and what does leadership actually mean. So first of all, why is leadership so important? When we talk about residual income and financial freedom, like, people in this industry, people want leadership, they want residual income, right? They join network marketing so that they can create more financial freedom, they can have more residual income. And again, I went through this in depth in the breakthrough event, and I go through it in depth in my book. But why is leadership so important? The reality is there's kind of 4 stages to financial freedom. Okay, through the network marketing vehicle, there are 4 stages. And again, I'm just going to punch through this quickly. If this is sort of new to you, actually, I should have asked that at the start. Who's never heard me speak before? Who's never heard me train at an event or anything like this? This is just brand new. It's kind of popped up on your email or popped up on your Facebook, and you're coming in for the first time. Pop a 1 if you've never heard me speak before. Pop a 2 if you know this. If you know the 4 stages and you're totally all over this, and we can punch through it really quickly and get into the guts of the training today. So let me know what we're going there. But 4 stages of income, right? The very first stage is our active income. Now, an active income is a job, trading time for money, trading effort for money, okay? When you launch your business, you are still trading time for money. You go out and you share your story and you get paid to bring people in. Product introductory bonuses, sign up bonuses, new start bonuses, rank advancement bonuses, all that kind of stuff. This is where we start, okay? And this is our hustle. We're just hustling. We're out there hustling. We're sharing our story, all those sorts of things. Then we start to duplicate. So we're duplicating, we're using systems, we're plugging people in, follow this script, follow this template, all those sorts of things, okay? And we can create leverage. So we have Zoom calls, we have social media, we have Facebook groups, we have all those sorts of things, and we're creating leverage through duplication and systems. Now, at this point, we can make some good money. We can make, multiple 5 up to 6 figures a year following. We are followers in the first 2 stages, okay? This is following. So we come out, our company sends us some scripts, our team leader sends us some scripts, we join a team, they've got a system, they've got a PDF, they've got a video to watch, we use the products, we share our story, we do all those sorts of things, we hustle, we then duplicate, we follow the systems that are in place, we plug people into the training, into the events, etc. That is all followership at this point. Now, at this point, we're making money, but we're not free, okay? There is no freedom in leverage. You can make money, but you don't have freedom. If you want residual income, you need leadership. And what you actually need is you need people to leave home, okay? You need the children to leave home. So they're going to come up, they're going to grow up, they're going to follow your systems, and then at some point, they're going to sit there and say, actually, I don't want to follow you anymore. I want to create my own systems, my own tools, my own team. And that is when we actually have residual income. So this is why leadership is so important, Because without leadership, there is no residual. Without leadership, there is no financial freedom. You can make money, but you won't be free. Now, of course, the final stage, okay, passive, and this is where we put our money to work. This is where we invest. This is where we make sure we're not just blowing our money left, right, and center, okay? Again, we are actually going out there and we're putting our money to work, making sure that we have multiple streams of income in place. We can have an incredible leveraged income, an incredible residual income, but we don't have financial freedom until we take that final stage. So, as I said, if this is new to you, if you're still sort of getting your head around that, I'm not going to go deeply into it today, but just go to the website there at the bottom of the thing, andrewlogan.net, under free resources, my business blueprint. Okay, you can download this for free, and it goes through the 4 stages, exactly how to, like, the different tasks you need, the different skills you need for each of the 4 stages. By the way, I sent this to the professional printer the other day so that I could hold it up in the event. Look at the margins on that. Terrible. So there's another one coming from a different printer, a different professional printer. But the reality is, if this is still brand new, okay, just download that free business blueprint, and that's going to take you through these 4 stages and help you with that. But today I want to get into leadership more. So if you're ready, let me know. If you're ready to learn more about leadership, you've got this covered, totally all makes sense. Let me know in the comment section. And before we take that next step, I want to do our first giveaway. And Cedric, I want to give you the first raffle draw prize because I loved what you said up the top there. I've never heard it described that way. I've been teaching leadership for many, many years. I've just never heard it said exactly that way. So, where are we? Here's my little thing. So, Cedric, well, you've won a book. Awesome. You've won a book. I'm going to send you my favorite leadership book. And that's actually really cool because that's what we're going to talk about right in a sec. So if you send me your, email me, here's my email address right here. Cedric, shoot me an email. Let me know your address. I will send you my favorite leadership book and help you grow your business and grow your own leadership. So let's get ready. So let's talk about actually how do you define leadership? Because if we rewind 7-8 years ago, as I said, we had joined network marketing about 10 years ago, my wife and I, and we were, sharing our story. We were bringing people in. We were earning an income, but we couldn't create leadership. Okay. And we were able to help people launch their business. We were able to help people, get through the first couple of ranks of our company. We were able to help people get to a point where they were earning $100, $200 a week, but we weren't able to get to this next stage of financial freedom. We weren't able to create leadership. So what do? You study leadership. It was like, okay, leadership is the missing piece. I need to learn this, and I need to figure it out. Because if I can learn it, then I can teach it. Because you would hear all these things like natural born leader. And you would hear like, oh, he's just a natural born leader. She was born for this. And you start thinking, well, are people just born for this or not? Is it just purely a lottery that, well, hey, I found Andrew, and Andrew's a natural born leader, so now I have a leader, right? Or can we actually develop leaders? But if we're going to develop them, we need to be able to define what actually is leadership. And if we can define it and measure it, then we can kind of create it. Because if you can't measure it, you can't change it, right? If we look at it from a business point of view, you need to be able to measure the leadership in your team. So I said about becoming a student of leadership. And again, I'm going to talk about this a little bit more as we go, but I was a student of leadership and I was like, how do I define leadership? Because for all the terms we used before, none of them were particularly objective. I couldn't measure someone's vision. I couldn't measure how much someone cared. I couldn't measure how much they empower people. It was incredibly important, but they were all very subjective. And so what I found was this book here by John Maxwell called The 5 Levels of Leadership. Now, if you want to learn leadership, this is my go-to book. And if you're really, really keen on leadership, that book is absolutely fantastic. A couple of years ago, just before the world kind of went crazy, I got to spend 48 hours with John at his like business, his offices over in there, Atlanta. We had 2 days in this very small room. There were about 50 to 60, 70 network marketing leaders. You had to be invited to this thing, you had to qualify. And we got to sit there and listen to John Maxwell train for 2 days. Absolutely incredible. Had breakfast with him, all those sorts of things. We got the photo. I was unfortunately just incredibly jet lagged throughout it because it was quite a whirlwind trip. But anyway, John Maxwell's 5 Levels of Leadership. It's on Audible. We're going to run through it quickly now for you so that we can help you understand and objectively measure leadership. And first of all, figure out where you are. And we just want to look at some of the pros and cons, some of the strengths and weaknesses at each level that's going on as well. Okay? Ooh. So, the very first level of leadership is called, almost spelled it wrong, positional leadership. Okay? It's terrible writing. Sorry. Positional leadership. So think about in your company, your rank. Now, people have a rank, and that rank is impressive from stage. I can impress from far, but it doesn't really make me a good person. I can have a certain rank, I can have a certain title, but that really doesn't make anything about me a better person. If we're going to look at character traits and being a better person, my rank is a bit irrelevant. It's great to say, look, this is what I've achieved. These are the people I've helped. These are how many kind of business builders I've brought in, all that kind of stuff. And we think in the real world of teachers, and you would have had teachers who were good teachers and teachers who were bad teachers, but they were teachers. You had to respect them. If you're in the army, you would have had generals and corporals that were good and generals and corporals that were bad. They were bad people, but you had to respect them. In a workplace, you have a boss. Now, some people have great bosses. Some people have bosses who, are a bit of an idiot. But the reality is that is a positional leadership. Now, positional leadership is, again, as we say, it's kind of the weakest form of leadership because people will do as much as they have to do, but they will very rarely do more. We will do enough for our boss, we'll do enough for whatever, but we'll rarely do more unless there's more to the person behind the title. Okay. And again, I always talk about I'm a dad. I have a positional title in our family as a dad. Does that make me a good dad? Who knows, right? It makes me a dad. Doesn't make me a good person or a bad person. It just makes me a dad. So my kids will listen to me to an extent, but at some point I need to have more of a level of leadership with them. So the next level of leadership is called permission. People follow you because they know, like, and trust you. They will follow you because they know, like, and trust you. How many times do we hear that? They give us permission to lead them. They join this company, they join the culture, they join the team, all those sorts of things. And they don't care about your rank as much. They join because of who you are, like the stuff, like your personality, what you're actually doing, how they get along with you. Do they like you? And they will follow you to the event because they trust you. They will buy the box of goodies because they trust you. They will get on the call because they trust you. They will go out and share their story the way you told them to, share their offer, all those sorts of things, because they know, like, and trust you. So permission leadership is a big part of network marketing. It's friends and family. It's people coming in and they buy products off us because they know, like, and trust us, and they give us permission to lead them. So permissional leadership is very, very strong, and that's how we create a culture, right? But the weakness of permission leadership is that culture, incredibly important. People knowing and getting along with each other and liking and trusting each other, very important. But let's be realistic. No one's going to stay forever unless they're getting paid. No one's saying, like, it's all fun and games to like each other and to like your leader. But if you join this for financial freedom and they're not giving you that, then you can know, like, and trust them all day long, but they're not going to follow you anything past that point. Okay. It is all fun and games. The culture can only last so long if everyone's making $0. That volunteer army will only get you so far. So we get our ranks and titles, people know, like, and trust us, and that's great. But it's only going to get us so far until we actually get into production. Okay, production. What are you actually doing? Just before I went live, I saw Rob Sperry had posted, your comp plan doesn't care how much time you spent in your business, right? Your comp plan only cares about what are you producing? How many other people are you helping? What is the productive nature of your business? Are you helping other people produce results as well? Are you shifting volume through your company? Network marketing, it's incredible. I'm sure you have amazing leaders. We all love our companies. We all love our leaders. We all love our CEOs, etc. But again, the reality is, guys, they're not running charities, okay? Like, we're not running a charity here. We need to actually produce. This is a business. If we're not creating a profit for the company, they're not going to pay us money. So we can have a rank and title. People will know, like, and trust us. But at some point, we need to actually get to work, bring people in, sell products, sell boxes, sell, opportunities, all that sort of stuff. We need to produce results. So production is level 3. Hey, Tracy, aloha. How are you? So yes, thank you, Delroy. Keeping track there. So if you missed, Delroy's keeping track in the comments section for you there. So positional leadership, permission, production. Now, what's the negative of production? Because everything has a strength and weakness. And often your greatest strength is also your biggest potential for weakness. So the biggest potential for weakness with production is, have you ever heard of the sponsor monster? Okay. That fiery red personality that's like, I don't care about your kids. I don't care about your story. Just give me your credit card. And it's kind of, part of network marketing is that you don't just get a credit card. It's not just a transaction. You're taking on someone's life. You're taking on someone's, personality. And, those red personalities, sometimes that can be hard. It's like, your budgie died. Don't care. Get on the call. Okay. Produce. So sometimes if you are purely production led, if you're purely production focused, you can kind of churn and burn people. You can burn people out. So are there any reds on here? And I'm very red. I'm also quite white. Okay. But, I'm very red in my personality as far as, drive, goal setting, all those sorts of things, very structured, very on time. I hate being late. I hate not doing things, all that kind of stuff. But I had to remember certainly as I grew my own leadership, as I did my personal development, that I had to take on people, as a whole person. I couldn't just say, okay, guys, this is it. This is what we're doing. And I don't care about the rest of the story. I used to try and outsource it to my wife, because my wife is one of the very blue personalities. Do we have any? And I'm sure we have a lot of blue personalities on here. You're nurturers. You love people. You love going to events and you see people walk across the stage and you cry tears because their stories just move you. And all you want to do all day, every day is just sit with your team and talk to them and hear about them. Network marketing attracts a lot of people, and it's like, oh, you can't afford the products. Don't worry, I'll buy them for you. Oh, that product tastes gross. Don't worry, I'll come over and drink it for you. Okay. Like, don't worry, you'll lose one. I'll drink it for you. It tastes like crap, but I'll drink it for you. And you just keep sitting over there. Okay. And blues, we're having a bit of fun, right? Like, we love you because you are the culture, you are the family, everything. But also the reality is that blue personality, that culture will kind of, you have to kind of have a bit of dogged determination about you as well. You can't take everyone with you to the top. You can't drag some people along, okay? Because not everyone's built for this, and we'll talk about some numbers in a sec. We're going to go out there and produce, but we can't forget about the person behind the credit card. We can't forget about the person behind the transaction in our back office, okay? So what do? We grow to the next level, and the next level is people development. Ugh. Can you tell I didn't do very well at English at school? Funny that now I'm like writing books and doing speeches, isn't it? Because I wasn't very good at English at school. But here we are, people development. People development. Now, this is how you develop the people around you. And again, I love John Maxwell. I'm going to quote from him a lot over the next 10 minutes or so. But it's not about teaching them just how to build a business. It's teaching them how to live a better life. Okay? I don't want to help people just grow their business. I want to help people live a better life. And that's why I love to do this now. I love to do these speeches, have these talks. Now the dog's barking. Apologies for that. But I want to help people do this because I want to help people not just build a business, not just enroll people, not just shift some products, but actually develop their lives. That's why I really love talking about leadership and financial mindset, because I don't want you just to make a few sales and make a few $100s. I want you to develop. So if you want to grow as a leader, you need to not really care about your rank. Your rank is irrelevant. Know, like, and trust people. That's great. But then you're going to help them produce, and then you're going to help them develop. Personal development isn't a great part of this industry. It is an essential part of this industry. And you are going to help people develop. Hey, mate, whoever said, hey, mate, back. Unfortunately, because you're coming up as Facebook user on my StreamYard. But hey, but we're going to help people develop. Okay. Now, that is kind of one of the investments that we make in people. You can go out and make investments in the property market, in the stock market, in the financial markets, in the the Forex crypto market, etc. In this business, we invest in people and we give our time and effort to them to help them develop, to help them run their own businesses. Because as I said, there's no residual income if they can't run their own business without you. So what's the final level, the fifth level? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 is Pinnacle Leadership. Okay? Pinnacle Leadership is when you can help people become level 4 leaders themselves, and they develop other level 4 leaders. So Pinnacle leaders surround themselves with other leaders. Now, again, we talk about residual income. What if you had people in your business who could not only run your business, but help others run their business and teach them how to teach other people to run their business? Okay? So we talk about, residual income, long-term financial freedom, all those sorts of things. Teach people how to teach people how to teach people, then you go off and lay on the beach. That was one of our mantras in the team. Teach, 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 then you lay on the beach. Okay, and to do that, you have to not only develop people, but teach them how to develop people. So teach people how to develop people. Now that does take a little bit of time, okay? And that's part of the commitment to leadership, the long-term investment in leadership. But that is where we have pinnacle leaders. And I always talk about, when a leader's on stage and it's like, man, that leader, they were up on stage, they totally crushed it. What did they teach me? How did I develop? When they got off stage, whatever they said, whoever they were, they walked off stage and said, you know what, I'm going to become a better version of Andrew Logan thanks to what they said on stage. I'm not going to try and become them, but I'm going to try and become a better version of Andrew Logan thanks to what that person on stage said. So to me, that was leadership. When we looked at, the leader on stage and we talked, asked you at the start of the event, well, what do you consider leadership? Okay. I consider someone who makes me want to become a better person. And they know the way, they go the way, and they show the way, right? And they show me how to become a better person. They show me how to develop other people. So task 1, your very first homework task of the event, of this live training, is to look at this and have an honest thought about where you are currently. How do you currently lead your team? And if you're willing to share, pop it up in the chat thread. Do you go for ranks and titles? And again, there's nothing wrong with going for ranks and titles. Recognition is incredibly important. Ranks and titles are a great way to show what you've done so far, but you're only going to get the lowest level of effort from people. Generally, they're going to give you just enough of themselves. Okay. Do they know, like, and trust you? Are they willing to give you a little bit more? Do you lead with culture? Do you lead with love and inclusivity? And again, I believe in everyone, but rely on no one. Okay. We'll talk about, again, the numbers in a sec, but I believe in everyone, but I know I can't rely on everyone. So I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to help set them up. I'm going to love on them. But then if they're not producing, I know that they're not ready for the next level yet. But how do they produce? Well, I've got to show them. And I show that by doing that myself. Okay? I've got to become a leader myself, and I've got to go out and produce and get results. Then I can help people develop. And then if I can help develop people who can develop people who can develop people, then I become a pinnacle leader. So have a little think about that. Have a little sort of in your head, where am I at? Where am I at with my team? Where am I at with myself? Okay. And, when we know where we're at, then we can grow, right? And that's why to me, it was like, well, how do I define leaders so I can know where I need to grow? And I can help other people define where they're at so they can see what they need to do next. So that's the next step, is defining leadership, okay? Take a photo of that, take a screenshot of that, do what you need to do. And then we'll get into some numbers. Now, as I said, I wasn't very good at English, but I was a maths nerd at school. I was captain of the maths team. Funnily enough, my girlfriend in high school was debating captain. She was captain of the English team, and I was captain of the maths team. What a power couple, right? But numbers. Let's talk about the numbers of a leader. Okay, numbers of leadership, I should say. Now, the great thing about numbers is that numbers don't lie. Humans will lie, unfortunately. Humans will say, I'm going to do this, and then they don't show up. And it broke my heart last week to say that I couldn't do the event last week because if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And to have to cancel totally broke my heart. But I was that unwell that I couldn't do it, right? But what we need to know is that in everything we do and say, how many of you have said you're going to do something and then you kind of change your mind, or you've had all this excitement after an event and you've told the mirror, you've told yourself, you got your, you got your sort of game plan from the event and you wrote in, this is my commitment. And then maybe you got a little bit distracted. You went back to work or you went home and something like that. And you got yourself, a little bit distracted and you didn't do what you said you were going to do, right? Unfortunately, this is sort of human nature. So this is why the numbers don't lie. So we're going to talk numbers. And once we understand the numbers and really how a team is built and the percentages, then we can really quite easily, the three reasons people struggle for leaders, it's really quite obvious from here once we kind of break it down. Like I said, we need to look at these things as objectively as possible because unfortunately, subjectively, we can't measure it. So we look at these things objectively, okay? So if you've got pen and paper in front of you, okay, and you're playing along, I want you to draw an upside down triangle, okay? Upside down pyramid, okay? Now this is some people might look at this as a funnel. You can look at this as a funnel, a triangle, however you sort of picture it, okay? Now, there is a thing called the Pareto Principle, or in other words, the 80-20 rule, okay? Now, the 80-20 rule is one of the most irrefutable laws of the universe. In the words of Jim Rohn, if you don't like them, go find a new earth to live on. Because on this one, we are a guest, and the 80-20 rule is one of the most real, undeniable laws of nature, okay? So the 80-20 rule is 80% of your time is spent with 20% of your friends, okay? And the other 20% of the time is spent with all the other 80% of your friends, okay? 80% of the time, you wear 20% of the clothes in your closet, okay? You've got those go-to clothes that you're in 80% of the time, and then the rest of the time, the other 20% of your time is all the other 80% of your clothes combined, okay? I know I've got gym clothes and I've got standing on stage clothes. Now, at the moment, those standing on stage clothes aren't really being used. So I'm in gym clothes just 24/7 while I'm around the house kind of thing. It's pretty rare that I get dressed at the moment. But the reality is dressed up. I do get dressed. But the reality is, this 80-20 rule is the same. Now, in business, 20% of the work we do produces 80% of the results. And the other 20% of the results, to get up to 100, is from all the other 80%. So quick tangent, but while we're here, to my procrastinators, and it's like, you know what, I've got to get, Tracy, we had this conversation the other day, right? I've got to get the perfect Instagram handle. I've got to get my logo figured out. I've got to like really nail my branding and my mantra, okay? I've got to finish my vision board. I've got to sit down and write all these things out. All those tasks are the icing on the cake. The 80% results tasks are going out, creating your offer, and going out and sharing it with people. Go out, share your offer with people, and the more people you share your offer to, you tell a good story often enough, it'll fall on good ears, okay? But we get caught up in all the 80%, and a lot of it's fluff, okay? The 20%, the messy work, going out, sending messages, connecting with people, voice messages, face messages, doing Facebook Lives, all that kind of stuff, that's what gets us 80% of our results. But from a time management point of view, so much time can get caught up in some of the other fluff that's out there, okay? But the 80-20 rule is perfect for looking at your team, okay? Now, if you are sort of fairly brand new, or you're in a newer company that's just launched, and particularly you're in a kind of newer company or newer team that's very sort of business opportunity launched, okay? These numbers may not work right now. But if you've been going for anything more than sort of 2 or 3 years, you will look at your team and you will say, you know what, these numbers are exactly bang spot on, okay? Like these numbers do not lie, okay? If you've been going for 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 months, you're going to say, oh no, my team's different, okay? It's different over here. It's different with this company. It's not. It's just the universe hasn't rebalanced yet, okay? Any company, any industry, any product, any team that's been going for more than 5 minutes, okay, will fall into these numbers, because these have nothing to do with your product, your company, anything. These are human nature numbers, okay? And as I said, in network marketing, the greatest thing is that we get to work with people. And sometimes one of the most frustrating things is that we work with people. And a big enough group of people will follow an exact pattern. So 80% of your team, about that much, will do absolutely nothing from a leadership point of view. They'll essentially be pure customers, or they just won't do anything from a business point of view, from a production point of view, from, like sharing their story. They won't open their mouth. They'll buy your products every week. They might even show up on the calls. They might even show up on the events. And again, guys, this isn't what they say they're going to do. This is what they're actually going to do. And I've found, if anything, it's an inverse law. The more someone tells me they're going to blow this thing up, the less they tend to do. The more someone says, watch me, and I do, and I watch them, and I say, okay. And they do nothing. They're like, watch me. I'm going to be your next big leader. I'm going to be the next big thing in this company. I'm going to be up on stage next year. Just watch me. You're like, okay. And you watch them and they don't do anything, right? Okay. 80% pretty much won't do anything really to change your business. That doesn't mean they're not great people. That doesn't mean anything else. That this just isn't their thing. They could love your products and buy them every single week for the rest of their life, but they never open their mouth. And, we've had people buying products off us for 10 years now who've never opened their mouth once. They love the products, but they just never open their mouth. Doesn't make them a bad person, but from a leadership point of view, they don't really do anything, okay? So that leaves us with 20% left of our team. Now we're going to break that 20% up into another 80-20 rule, okay? So 80% of the 20% remaining will share, okay? We sort of call them, they're sharers, right? They're kind of part-time. They're going to tell their mum, they're going to tell their sister, they might bring the cat on, okay? They're going to tell people here and there, they might attend the odd event, okay? They'll come to like the big company event, but they won't get on the weekly training every week. They're going to share their story here and there. They're going to kind of show up every now and then. But again, they're not going to go further than that. And if it helps, think about them. I like to think about these guys as, part-time employees, okay? These guys are just part-time. They're casual employees. They kind of show up, They might share their story here and there. They get a few product introductory bonuses. They'll share when there's a company promotion. They'll share when there's like a big giveaway or something, but they're not really self-motivated enough to do anything more than that. Now, if this is you, totally okay. Again, there's nothing wrong with being a sharer. There's nothing wrong with this being your part-time little side hustle, the casual thing that you do off the side. Just know that it's not going to be something that's going to attract leaders to you, okay? But again, and we talked about it in the breakthrough event, talked about it in my book, you can still make money, skip level 3, skip stage 3, okay, and just go to stage 4 and just invest your money, okay? Make extra money, invest that money, create a wealth loop. You can still have financial freedom, just share consistently, okay? But we've got 80% doing nothing, we've got 16% doing a little bit, okay? That leaves us 4%. Now we get a little bit complicated here, but 80% of that 4% will build a business, which is actually 3.2%. They will build a business. These are full-time employees, okay? They show up on every call. They show up at every event. They consistently do the work, but they consistently follow. Now, these guys can make a lot of money for you. They will produce all day, okay? These guys are more sort of permission-based leaders. They need you to give them permission to lead. There's a big event on, you're allowed to come and you're allowed to get into action after it. Okay, these guys will build, they will produce, okay? They will produce a lot for you. They will produce a lot for themselves. They'll produce a lot for the team. It's their full-time job, but it's not their career. It's not in their DNA like Janice, okay? This is their job, not their career, okay? There's an old parable of a man walking down the street, and there's 3 men laying bricks. And he says to the first man, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm laying bricks." Okay, that is his job. He's just out there laying bricks. Says to the next person, "What are you doing?" And he says, "I'm building a church." That is his profession. I'm a builder. I build things, okay? One is just doing stuff. The next person is building things. Says to the third person, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm building a house of God." It's his calling, okay? So there are people who are going to just do tasks. There are people who are going to build a business. And then we've got our final 0.8%. And these people will lead. These are our leaders. They have a calling. This is in their DNA. This is why they get up in the morning at 6 a.m. or 4 a.m. on a Sunday morning, because this is in their DNA. They cannot help but do it. So think about these guys as the part-time employees, think about these people as the full-time employees, and think about these people as the business owners. So when I owned my physio clinic, okay, there was a lot more, like when I worked in this clinic, right? In the real world, I worked in this clinic, I showed up every day, I did my work, and then I went home. I was a great full-time employee. And they said to me, like, "You're really great. Why don't you buy in and become like a partner in this business?" Then I started going home and doing wages. Then I started going home and doing tax. Then I started cleaning toilets on the weekend because our cleaner was sick. Then I started getting in there at 6 a.m. to answer the phones because our receptionist was sick. Then I started getting phone calls on a Sunday afternoon that one of my staff was sick, and I'd have to go into work and cancel all their patients on a Sunday afternoon, okay? Because I was a boss. Right? And again, that was in the real world, okay, the traditional sort of business world. But that's how I like to think about it. Now, a couple more things here is systems. We talked about systems and duplication really quickly, okay? These people need a system, right? They're still important. They're still important to our business. I hope you can see that. I understand it is a touch small, okay? But I hope you can see this. But these guys need systems to use the products. Systems to just keep ordering. Okay, give them systems. The sharers, they need a system. How do I share my story? Well, funny you should say that actually. Here's a business blueprint. I just downloaded it off my friend Andrew. It's going to tell you how to create your offer. There you go. Just follow that system. Here it is. Here's a video and here's a blueprint. Here's a PDF. Off you go, right? There's your system. Boom. Follow that system, share your story, post on your social media, share your story, Boom. Our builders, they need essentially the same system. They're just going to do it more often. Okay, they're just going to duplicate it. So what's the difference between a part-time employee and a full-time employee? Is that the full-time employee, the business builder, duplicates. So they lead enough to care enough about people that they're duplicating, right? So they're following this system and they're duplicating this system. They're showing other people how to duplicate this system. So systems, duplication. What about our leaders? What do leaders not do? What is the one thing about a leader that they will not do? And a leader will not follow. A leader will not follow because leaders are not built to follow. Leaders are built to lead because in their DNA, following doesn't work. Okay? Germa. Is that a hard G or a soft G? I apologize if I pronounce that correctly. You are the first to say follow. We're going to do in a sec, we'll do a little spinning of the wheel because you said follow. Perfect. You got the answer correct. So yes, systems. The leader will not follow your system. Okay? They will not follow your system because they're a leader, right? So what hard G? Thank you, Germa. So they do not follow your system. So what do we need? We need an ID system for our leaders, right? We need an identification system. The most important system in your business is the system to identify leaders, because you know what? You need to get them out of this funnel. So someone comes in, hey, I like your products, show me how to get better skin, get fuller hair, get, more energy, get better sleep, lose 5 kilos, make more money. Tell me. They come in, okay? They progress. They start using the products as a customer. They follow that system. They think, you know what? Actually, my wife's noticed and my best friend's noticed. I'm going to tell them. I'm going to share my story. How do I do that? Here, follow this system. Follow this system, okay? Boom, boom, boom. Off you go. Follow the system. Teach me what to do. Done. Okay. You know what? All these friends are getting results. I would love to learn more about getting an extra income. What do I do now? We'll duplicate that system. Keep doing what you're doing. Do it over and over again. And then I want you to start teaching other people to follow that system as well. Okay. Then at this point, what am I going to do? I'm going to give them an identification system. Now, this is one of the biggest lessons I ever learned in, it took me, again, I can be a slow learner, right? I can be a stubborn male at times. It took me a couple of years to learn this. But one of the biggest things that I needed to do was actually test people. Actually needed to test how interested they were, how committed they were. Because again, numbers don't lie. People do, numbers don't. So people would say to me, yep, I'm so keen, boom, 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 this is awesome. I've shared with 2 people, I've kind of hit the first rank, blah, blah. And what I would do is I would give them a little gift. And I'd give them like this. This was what we really used in the early days. Now I use my book. But in the early days, we'd give them this book called The 4 Agreements, okay? And I liked this book because it was quite short. It's 140 pages max, that's including some stuff at the back, okay? It's about 130 pages. It's a very small, easy read, as you can see. You could read it in an hour if you really wanted. And I would do 2 things. First of all, I would give it to them and say, congratulations on what you've achieved so far, okay? Here's a little gift. Recognition of what you've achieved so far. Congratulations. Then I would, on about page 50, okay, page 50 here, I'd just say, hey, if you've made it this far, you're awesome. Let me know when you read this. Because do you know how many people would get the book and never read it? About 80%. About 80% of the people who said, yep, boom, I'm in, this is cool. And I'd say, all right, here's a book. Congratulations, read this book. My sponsor gave it to me. It's a really good book, incredible, really changed my life, okay? And I'd give it to them and 80% wouldn't read, 80-20 rule. But the 20% who would, they'd get to page 50 and they'd send me a message and say, hey, I just got your message. Okay, cool. All right, I have someone who is a potential leader. And you know what? I'm going to take them out of the system. I'm going to take them out of the system, and I'm going to actually start to teach them not to follow, but to think for themselves. I'm going to actually start to teach them fundamentals over tactics. A tactic is post on your Facebook this script. A fundamental is you need to go out and share your story. You can do that with Reels, you can do that with Facebook, you can do that with Instagram, you can do that with Lives, you can do that with Zooms, you can do that with coffee meetings, you can do that with the road shows, whatever you want, okay? A tactic is here's what I post when I'm like, here's a template to post quotes, and I like this template, okay? A fundamental is go out and give value to your customers. Find your brand, find your attractive customer, find your avatar, and go out and give value to them. Understand the difference? Tactics people follow. Fundamentals are, lifelong. Fundamentals of this business are network, connect with people, and market, solve their problem. Now, we do that through tactics, through Facebook, through social media, through events, through books, blah, blah, blah. Or we teach people the fundamentals. So the most important system you need, okay, is a system to identify who's actually in the 20% and who's in the 80%. And as I said, for me, it was as simple as sending them a book. You do whatever you want, and you could buy my book, right? And then on page 50, just say, hey, you're awesome. If you've got this far, shoot me a message. Let's get to work, okay? And you'll see who's willing to read 50 books. Who wants to make $1 million but won't read a book? Who wants to make $1 million but won't attend an event? Who wants to make $1 million but doesn't care enough about other people? Who wants to make $1 million, okay, but won't do any personal development? Okay? Numbers do not lie. All right. Now the last thing, and then we're going to move on, but the last thing, Janice, okay, who here, comment below, who here is like, yep, that's me. I'm in the 0.8%. I am in that 0.8%. I am that leader, okay? And I know it. And I know it in my bones. I know it in my cells. I know it in my DNA. I am a leader, okay? And this is me. And this all makes sense and I can see it. Comment if that's you. Comment if that's you, because here's the thing. You're the weirdo, right? This is what we've got to understand, that you're the weirdo. Like if we look at the numbers, there's 0.8% who go all that way. That means you're the weirdo. That means people actually look at you a little bit and like, oh, you're a bit weird. Now that's awesome. Like we want to be the weirdos, right? And we are okay with being the weirdos, and we love it, and we love that about ourselves. But we also need to understand that most people, 99.2% of people, don't really get us. Like, they're like, why is that guy getting up at 4 a.m.? Because we live in this small village, right? And every morning I walk the dog, and it's quite clockwork that we go at 6 a.m. and you see the same people, right? So of course I went at 4:30 this morning to get the dog walk before this, and all these other people out there like, who's this guy? Like, why are you up so early, Andrew? Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I've got to do this event at 6 a.m. And they're like, what? Like, you're weird. Like, we were having that conversation out there on the street a couple of hours ago, right? But this is the reality, is that we're the weirdos, okay? We just got to own that. We've got to own that. We've got to understand that. We've got to understand that people won't kind of totally understand us, okay? And that's okay. That's okay. Most people won't understand it. But as long as we understand that most people won't understand us, I don't need everyone to understand me. I don't want everyone to understand me, but I need to know that most people won't understand me. So when I go out and talk to people, I need to talk to people up here in their language first. I need to be able to talk this language before I come out and that. Can you move to the 0.8? Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can move to the 0.8. That's personal development, right? And that's just having the vision and the desire to move to the 0.8%. Of course you can. That's where personal development is part of it. You go and you do that. Janice, yep, it's Tracy, yeah, perfect. Yeah, like you're learning to be that 0.8%, right? You're in the 3.2% right now. You're building your business, and you have invested in your business. You've invested yourself. You're in the mastermind. You're in like Tracy is one of my elite mastermind people. So is Janice. These are people who are investing in themselves to get into the 0.8%. Okay, so yes, of course you can grow. That's personal development, but just know that not everyone is going to understand your journey. So when I go out there in the street and I'm talking to people and I'm connecting people, I'm not saying to someone, hey, I've got this business opportunity. You're going to have to get up at 4 a.m. on a Sunday morning if you want to join, and say, hey, how'd you like to make $50 a week? And if they can do that, then I'll say, hey, how would you like to make that $200 a week? And if they can do that, I'll say, hey, here's a book. Read this. And if they read the book, then I'll start having a different conversation with them. Communication is key. And being able to communicate with the 99% and also with the 0.8%, let's say 1%, because it's just easier. Being able to communicate with the 99% and communicate with the 1%, that is a skill. That is a skill you develop. But just remember that you're the weirdo. So when we lead with our weirdo-ness, we can actually turn away a lot of people. All right. So little bonus, why do some people struggle to find leaders? Because they lead with their own weirdness. Okay. They lead with their own weirdo-ness. Now, we are right at the hour mark, okay? We are about to go into the top 3 hurdles and what you can do to overcome them. We're about to actually get right into the juice. We've done all the theory. Let me know if you just want to continue through. We've probably got sort of 45 minutes to go. We can have a quick little break or we can just power through. Let me know in the comment section. In the meantime, I'm going to spin the wheel for Germa because you were the first one to say follow. You got the answer correct. So you win our VIP group. So you win a month's membership into our VIP group. So again, shoot me an email. I'll pop my email address up on here if you missed it before. Okay, shoot me an email, andrew@andrewlogan.net, and I will send you the details on how to get into the VIP group. I'll send you the link. So that's where I do like all my VIP training, Q&A sessions, masterminds, boot camps, etc. That's where I do the sort of higher level training. You can get into that as well for a month. So you get a month's membership there. Power through. Yes. Let's power through. Let's do this. Okay. Right. So hurdle number 1. Why do people struggle to find leadership? Okay. Why do most people struggle to find leadership? Now, given that 0.8% of people are leaders, if you reverse engineer that, there's some bad news for a second. If you reverse engineer 0.8%, that means 1 in 125 people are quote unquote leaders right now. Now, again, that doesn't, as Tracy was talking, you can develop, you can find people who are willing to develop. You can find 3%ers who are willing to go that next step. But pure numbers, reality, you haven't enrolled enough people yet to find your leaders. And I say yet, okay? Because of course you can. Of course you can go out and enroll more people, okay? In every business, in every profession, in every career, there is an apprenticeship that you need to do. Now, for me, again, in the real world, it was physiotherapy. I spent 4 years at university just learning how to treat the human body. It was 4 years until they allowed us to go out into the real world and treat an actual patient. We would practice on each other. And there's always something, a bit ironic about practicing, on young other 18-year-olds. We're all 18, 19, fairly fit and healthy. I mean, physiotherapy attracts active athletes and, people like that. So we're all pretty kind of fit and healthy practicing on each other. And then it's like, okay, you've graduated, go out there and, deal with someone in hospital who's incredibly unwell and you've been practicing on 19-year-old footy players, okay? But the reality is in any business, in any career, you need to do an apprenticeship. And sometimes in network marketing, we can be our own worst enemy. Sometimes in network marketing, we can sit there and like, oh, well, I enrolled on Monday and it's Thursday and I'm not a millionaire yet. I am enrolled like I've done all the events and I've done all these things and I'm not a millionaire yet. It's like, well, we need to take the focus off the results and focus on our own apprenticeship. Focus on our own foundations. Now, when I was a physio, I didn't sit there and like second year anatomy and we're learning, neuroanatomy and we're learning about the brain and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, man, I'm not working with professional athletes yet. This is crap. This is bull dust. I'm out. Right? It was like, no, this is my apprenticeship. This is where I'm learning the skills. Okay. This is where I'm going out and doing the foundation so that I can go out and actually have success. Okay. So yes, in my real world, before we found network marketing, I was able to get to that point. I was able to work with professional athletes and, Olympians, X Games athletes, all that kind of stuff. But that was 4 years at university. It was like 12 years at school, 4 years at university, and then another 6 or 7 years. Okay. Cedric, marry the process, divorce the outcome. Yep. Chop wood, carry water. There was like at least 10 years of university study and professional study to a point where I could actually start to work with, leaders in their own field, leaders of the sports field, leaders in the athletic world, right? But here is just the number, like the reality, the numbers do not lie, is that you will need to focus on finding 125 people instead of focusing on finding leaders. If you change your mindset to how do I do my apprenticeship? How do I do my apprenticeship and how do I learn how to find 125 people? And in that process, you will find a leader. But so many people say to me like, oh, I can't find a leader. Get messages like I'm struggling to find leaders. Like, how many people have you enrolled? 7. And sometimes I write back like, we'll find 118 more. And they get a bit disheartened, and I get that. And sometimes people can get brought in with hype, with overexcitement, with little white lies that you just need to just follow the system and people will come to you, all that kind of stuff. Some people are selling little white lies. Okay, I'm not here to do that to you today. Okay, I'm here to say to you, you know what? Do your apprenticeship. If this is your career, if this is what you want to do, you need to do your apprenticeship. For me in physiotherapy, it was 4 years, and it wasn't just 4 years, it was a couple of $100,000 as well. And then that was enough to get me a job, and it took me 3 years in a job before I was kind of like at a point then when my boss was like, actually, Andrew, like, you're probably ready to step up. Do you want to buy into the business? Which then cost me more money. Okay, let's not go down that path. But I've already spent a couple of $100,000 learning on my apprenticeship and about 7 years at this point. Then I spent even more money. Then I went through a business apprenticeship that took me another 3 years or so before I kind of felt comfortable. It took me 10 years to be a decently, moderately successful, profitable physiotherapist. And everyone in the real world was like, wow, look at Andrew, look at his life. He gets to travel the world. He gets to go to Canada and work with the athletes. He's got this profitable business. He drives a fairly nice car, and he only actually treats patients kind of 3.5 days a week now because he's got a business where he's got employees who can do it for him. That took me 10 years and a lot of money. Okay. And in here, people are like, well, I've been doing it 10 days. I spent $50 buying a box and I've done it for 10 days and I haven't made any money. I quit. Let's just be realistic. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Here's the good news is often you don't actually find the leader. Okay. Often it's actually you enroll someone who knows someone who knows someone. So it's often not even in your own sort of 125 people that those real game-changing leaders are going to come. But you've got to go out and just say, you know what, I'm going to learn how to enroll 250 people. I want to have financial freedom. I'm going to find 2 leaders. And, if I've got a decent comp plan and stuff like that, and I find 2 incredible people, you're going to find a lot of good people. You're going to find a lot of average people. You're going to find a lot of, people. You're going to find some good people. You're going to find some great people. And you're going to find 2 incredible people if you just set the goal and the mindset of, you know what, I'm going to find 250 people. How do I do that? Okay. Like, hint, get that. Okay. Go through courses, learn, study. Okay. Learn the skills, watch that breakthrough event. Okay. Read my book, all those sorts of things. If there's other people who you prefer to listen to, buy their books. Just do something to grow yourself, whatever it is, right? Buy their books, listen to their audibles, do their courses, sign up for their masterminds, whatever it is, okay? But yeah, you've got to do the work behind the scenes before you're recognized under lights. As I said, it took me 10 years to be an overnight success in physiotherapy. We are just about to come up. So it's my 40th birthday in about 2 months, 2 months and 2 days, actually. Now, I signed up to network marketing the week before I turned 30. So we're really coming up to 10 years. Like I've been a lot more successful in network marketing than I was in physiotherapy, but I still went into network marketing saying, you know what, you've got to do this for 5 to 7 years minimum, Andrew. The day I signed up, the day I said, like, this is it, this is what I'm going to do, okay? The day I said that, we made that commitment, and I use the word commitment on purpose. We made that commitment, and I said to Angie, I said, you know what? It took me 7 years to make 6 figures as a physio. We're going to do this for 7 years before we really even look at our results. Now, in 7 years, we made 7 figures. In 7 years in physiotherapy, I made 6 figures. In 7 years in network marketing, that's when we hit 7 figures, right? And the reality was we enrolled a lot of people. And then funnily enough, the way the universe works, we enrolled 3 incredible people all at one breakfast meeting, all in one day. We enrolled these most incredible game-changing leaders on the same day. But I had done 2.5 years of apprenticeship up to this point. So these game-changing leaders didn't come in till we were 2.5, even maybe 3 years into our apprenticeship, into our career, into our business build. And then sure enough, bang, 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 3 people all joined on the same day. Bit crazy, right? And our business went from 6 figures to 7 figures in 6 months. It was just totally nuts, right? But I had done my apprenticeship up to that point. So a little analogy. Now, some of you are Americans and you've still got this incredibly annoying imperial system, right? Let's talk metric system. And this is how I like to think about it. So again, in the metric system, water boils at 100. Okay, it freezes at 0 and it boils at 100. And if you think about that, like we say again, 1 in 125 people, if we just round that down to 100, this analogy works really well. So you've got water on a saucepan, on the pan, and you want to get it up to 100 degrees to boil. Now, it takes energy to get that water from 1 degree to 2 degrees. It takes energy to get that water from 2 degrees to 3 degrees. It takes energy to get that water from 3 degrees to 4 degrees. And you can sit there and watch that pot and it will look like nothing is going on. And you can get that water to 40 degrees, to 50 degrees, to 60 degrees before it even looks like a tiny little bubble is coming up, okay? And you're like, man, I have put all this energy into this boiling pot and nothing's really happening. And then you put the same amount of energy in and you get it up to 70, okay? You've enrolled 70 people at this point. You've done all that energy and you start to see a little bubble in the saucepan, okay? You start to see a little bit of movement. You start to see some results. But what happens if you walk away? If you start to see some results, but you turn the pot off and you walk away, right? You turn the saucepan off and you walk away, what's going to happen? You're back to 0, okay? So you're sitting there and you put the energy in, 20, 30, 40. Man, this is hard, okay? But you might have to put 60 or 70 bits of energy in until you start to see the smallest bits of results. And the second you step away and walk away, it's over. Sometimes people say to me, I've been doing this for 5 years. I'm like, no, you've been doing it for 2 months, 10 times. 10 times over 5 years. Every 6 months, you do it for 2 months and then you just walk away. So you haven't done it for 5 years. You've done it for 2 months, 10 times. So let's be honest, right? But then you start to get it to kind of 80. Then you get to 85. Then you get to 90 and it's starting to roll, okay? Now you can have that pot at 99 degrees Celsius and it's still not boiling. It is moving. It's showing stuff. But you go from 99 to 100 and that thing just changes, right? That pot goes from kind of bubbling and simmering to rolling. The lid is getting knocked off. There's steam, there's noise, all this kind of stuff. The energy that it took to go from 99 to 100 is the exact same energy that it took to go from 1 degree to 2 degree. The exact same amount of energy went from 1 to 2, from 99 to 100. But that change at 99 to 100 is enormous. The amount of effort we did over the first 2.5 years, enrolling people, bringing people in, sharing our story, doing those sorts of things. And we did that. And then one day we enrolled 3 people in one breakfast morning. I remember driving home because it was like 2-hour drive to this breakfast meeting. I remember driving home. Actually, it was a 5-hour drive. Sorry. 5-hour drive. And I remember driving home and like saying to Angela, I'm like, I need a little nap. I'm a bit tired, but like, we're good. We're good financially. Like, this is it. Like, boom, done. Right. But it took through all that energy to get our pot to 99. Then it went to like 102 and it just exploded and it just went absolutely nuts. Okay. So that is the first challenge for most people, that you just have to go out and enroll people. So how do you fix this problem? You network and you market. Go out and do the thing. Do the thing. Again, change your mindset. I don't want to find leaders. I want to nail this. I want to nail this myself. Okay? Eric Worre, Eric Worre is a bit of a guru, right? And I'm sure you've all read his book, GoPro. And again, GoPro, for agreements, we used to use GoPro as well. But one of the very first lines in GoPro is Eric Worre saying how, he figured out that experts make all the money. Experts in this industry, experts in that industry, they make all the money. So he went out and he's like, well, how do I become the expert in network marketing? And I remember reading that and I remember saying, okay, I've just got to figure out network marketing. If I figure out network marketing, I don't need to be the expert, but if I figure it out, we'll have success. So again, we never focused on will we have success? We focused on figure it out. And how do you figure it out? You go out and do it. Go out and do it. Now, again, if you need help with that, go to my website. Okay, there's free resources on there. There's the blueprint, there's the DMO, there's my book. Okay, go through the breakthrough event. It's up on my YouTube channel. Okay, and again, find someone you like, find someone you resonate with, follow them, do what they say. Okay, find a great leader, join them, do all those sorts of things. Okay, but that is challenge number 1. So, is anyone willing to admit that actually, that's been me? Is anyone willing to sort of just put their hand up and say, actually, I've probably been focused on the result and I haven't gone out and done my apprenticeship. But I'm going to make that commitment now and I'm going to commit live on air. I'm going to commit to Andrew right now that I'm going to go and do that. Is anyone willing to? Yeah, Goma, you are. Awesome. Messy action is the best action. Yes. So we've got one person who's willing to admit. It's awesome. I was going to do another spin. But Goma, you've already had a spin. So we'll see what we can do, hey? But no one else is going to admit. That sucks. That's a shame. Yes, Sarah. Yes, there we go. Sarah's going to make that commitment. So, Sarah, well, you're already in our VIP group. So I can't give you the VIP group. I'll get something to you. I'm going to send you my favorite leadership book as well. I'm going to send you the 5 levels of leadership as well. So can you send me your address? Now everyone's committing. Now there's the chance to win a prize. Everyone's committing. Look at all those commitments. Right. But Sarah, you were the first person. You were the second person. Look, yes, send me your address and I will send you off a copy of the 5 levels of leadership. And that will really, really help you. Okay, let's go to hurdle number 2. Okay, hurdle number 2. What is the second biggest reason that most people struggle to find leaders? Where's my pen? The second biggest reason is that they haven't shown them the path. Okay, so if we come back to here for a second, these are numbers. Numbers are nice, okay? Numbers are all exciting, all those sorts of things. A bit crumpled, sorry. Your job is to take people through this path, okay? You need to take them through the path. You need to actually show them what to do. Now, we talk about this as being a tour guide, not a travel agent, okay? So think about tour guide, not travel agent. Now, what do I mean by that? So, obviously, travel's changed a little bit these days. There's a lot of websites and stuff going on, but travel agencies still incredibly important, and great travel agency companies in this industry, etc. Travel agents, and again, I'm going to talk about an average travel agent. I'm not going to talk about a good one. I'm going to talk about an average one. Okay, an average travel agent would sit there and say, "Here is your ticket. Okay, here is your hotel. So you're going to fly to Paris, and we've booked you in this hotel. Okay, here it is in a nice little folder. Okay, here's your forms to fill out, your customs forms, etc. Here's your itinerary. Off you go. Have a great trip. Send me a postcard." The tour guide meets you at the airport, or they meet you at the hotel. And they say, "You know what, Andrew? Tomorrow morning, we're going to get up." Okay, so tomorrow morning, we're going to get up and we're going to go see the Arc de Triomphe. We're going to see the Eiffel Tower. We're going to see the Palace of Versailles. Then I'm going to give you lunch. Okay, I'm going to give you the afternoon off. Okay, here's where I recommend for lunch. Okay, recommend like these sort of 3 places. Go off in the afternoon, explore. Okay, do whatever you want. And then I'll meet you for dinner and we can talk about it. Right? Tell me what you've learned. Tell me what you saw, and I can give you a bit of history and a bit of feedback, okay? Then the next day, you wake up again. They're like, "Okay, yep, today we're going to go to here, okay? We're going to check out this, all right? We're going to go to..." Has anyone been to those crypts in Paris? A little mental blank on the name, but the Capuchin monks. Has anyone been to that? Incredible. Sorry, no, they're in Rome. But I think France and Paris has them as well, right? Incredible. These crypts under the city. Okay, we're going to go there. We're going to go there today. And again, I'm going to show you around. Then I'm going to leave you on your own for a little bit, and I want you to come back to me with some more questions and come back to me with more sort of feedback, all that kind of stuff. That is being a tour guide. Okay, so the travel agent in this situation, in this analogy, is going to say, "Goma, you have joined. Here is a business blueprint. Here is a box. Okay, here is our team Facebook group. Off you go and make $1 million. Tell me when you get there." And I will put my hand up and say, "This was me. This was me 10 years ago. I remember coming in and going, you know what? I've got these 2 friends, thanks to my connections and thanks to my world of, sports athletes and that. I've got a friend. He's a personal trainer at this like really high level personal training clinic in Sydney, health and wellness product. And I've got this other friend, and he's the physio for the Australian Olympic team. I was like Winter Olympics, he was Summer Olympics. We were best friends through university. I just got to get those 2 in, right? If I get those 2, everything will be fine." And they did. They both joined. They both enrolled because they know, liked, and trust me. Okay, permission-based leadership. And then I just sat back and did nothing. And I just sat back and I messaged them like, "Guys, come on, go out, bring people in. What are you doing?" And they're like, "Hey, tell us what to do. We don't know what to do. We just joined this company. You've been doing it longer than us. Tell us what to do." And thankfully, I guess, the energy and the friendship we had was they were pretty happy just to tell me to my face. And I remember even my sponsor saying to me one day, "How much do you want to earn out of this thing?" And I'm like, "Oh, $100,000 would be cool." And we had a really good relationship. And she's like, "Well, get to work. You're going to have to do a lot," she used a different adjective, "a lot more work than you're doing right now." Okay. And so what we need to remember is that it's our job to be a tour guide, and we're going to use our stories. We're going to help people. We're going to show them the path. Okay. And we do it with this 3-step process. Okay. So we study, we practice, and we teach. And it's a circle. We study, practice, teach, study, practice, teach, study, practice, teach. Would you like me to show you exactly how we have made a lot of money, multiple 7 figures, through network marketing? Okay? This is how we did it. Study, practice, teach, study, practice, teach, study, practice, teach. Okay? So what did we do? Okay. This is what we did, okay? This is a story. This isn't a promise or a guarantee or anything. This is a story, okay? We started using some products, okay? Health and wellness products, we got great results. I lost weight, Angie improved her energy, Angie improved her sleep. We got results, okay? And our sponsor said, you know what? So before that, we got results, and then what do? You go out and you share your story, but you don't know what you're doing, so you just verbally vomit on everyone. Has anyone ever verbally vomited on someone and like turned them off and you scare them away because you verbally vomit on them? That was us. Okay, we were like verbally vomiting on everyone. And my sponsor said, you know what? You need to actually learn how to do this. Like if you want to do this, you need to learn how to do this. Come along to this event, okay? Coma's done it. Come along to this event on the weekend. It was, coming up in a month or so. There's this lady, she's incredible. She's going to teach you, okay? So what did we do? We went to the event and we studied how to share our story. And then we went out and we practiced in the real world sharing our product story, okay? We studied it and we practiced it. Now, by doing that, we started earning like $200 a week, okay? So now we had a new story. So now we had like a $200 a week story. So we had a product story and we studied and practiced how to share that story, okay? Now that gave us a $200 a week story. So what did we do? We then taught people this. We taught how to share their product story. We said, you know what, actually, we've gone out and we've practiced it. Now we need to teach it. Now the problem was, again, I wasn't very good at it. And in fact, I was terrible at it. So, and this was before Zoom, okay? This was kind of like before Zoom where you would train over conference calls. Anyone old enough to remember conference phone calls? And you would train your team by like, so what you need to do is blah, blah, blah. And like everyone would dial into the conference call, okay? So, but that was, before Zoom. Thankfully, Zoom came along, it was a bit more interesting. But one of my team members, just the other day, one of my friends, good friend and team member, said to me the other day, do you know my husband still uses those original recordings to put himself to sleep? I was that bad that people used the recordings of those early trainings. I was using like this GoToWebinar and this conference call software, okay? It wasn't exactly that dynamic, wasn't that interactive. But I was so bad that people would use it to fall asleep, okay? And people are still using them like 8-9 years later to fall asleep. But, so what did I do? I studied how to get better. I need to get better at teaching, okay? Helen remembers. I need to get better at teaching. So I joined Toastmasters, okay? I would record our trainings and then I'd watch them again the next morning with a pen and paper, like I was at university. I would sit there with a pen and paper and I would write out, okay, here's what I need to do. Here's what I need to do. Here's where I need to get better, okay? And I would go and I would do that so that I would get better at this. I studied that and I practiced it. Now, I speak a lot, obviously, these days. Do a lot of trainings virtually, and stage events are coming back, which is awesome. Do you know when our company first asked me to speak? Can't remember exactly when it was, but then there was a 3-year gap between my first speech and my second speech. So have a think about how great that first speech was if they didn't invite me back for 3 years. Okay, that's how bad I was, right? But I taught, we taught here, and we studied and practiced how to get better at teaching. Okay, now by doing that, we started to create a $2,000 story. Study, practice, teach, study, practice, teach, study, practice, teach. Now, by doing that, we got a $2,000 story. So what did we do? We went out and said to people, hey guys, we've learned how to create a 6-figure income from home. We've got a $2,000 a week story. Let me teach you. So what was I teaching then? I was teaching leadership. Now, if you're going to teach leadership, you have to learn leadership. And this is when I went down this path. So this is 7 years ago or so, as we were talking about at the start. This is when I started diving, bomb diving into leadership, studying leadership and practicing leadership so I could teach leadership. Okay? I needed to teach our $2,000 story. I needed to teach leadership. I went out and studied and I practiced how to do that. And then by studying and practicing and putting it into action, I was teaching leadership. Now I'm doing that. We got $20,000 story. Okay? And we said to the leaders in our team, those 1%ers, those 0.8%ers, would you like to hear how we got our $20,000 story? Let me teach it to you. What did we do? We did people development. We developed people to a point where they could develop their own people. So we did that. I studied and I practiced masterminds, okay? I invested in masterminds. I invested in courses. I flew all the way to Atlanta to spend 2 days with John Maxwell so that I could learn how to develop people so that we could study, practice, teach. Study, practice, teach. If you want to earn that life-changing income, study, practice, teach. Study, practice, teach. Okay? That is the key to success in showing people the path. Okay? Now, study, practice, teach. Now again, so if you haven't learned how to get your 125 enrollments yet and you haven't learned how to teach that, it's very simple. It's not easy, but it's very simple. You go out and you do the work. You practice, 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 and you practice in the field. Okay? You go out and you practice sharing your story by sharing your story. You practice sitting down with your team members and teaching them how to share their story. You show them what to do. You study, practice, teach. Okay? And by studying, practice, and teaching, you're going to enroll 50 people, 100, 150, 200 people, 250, 300. You're going to be enrolling people because you're in action and you're following this process. And you're in the production mode, and then you turn that into people development by not just practicing, but teaching. I said it right at the start. Spoiler alert, right at the start. I said, to me, a leader is someone who teaches me something on stage. So we had this exact conversation, didn't we? 3 weeks or so ago about like teaching the team, training the team, having systems of training. So we had systems of leadership in our team. We have systems for the part-timers, systems for the builders, and then we have systems for the leaders. We would teach them leadership. And to do that, I had to practice it myself and I had to study it myself so that I could practice, so that I could teach it. Okay? Now again, I used the word earlier, this is the commitment of leadership. We have to commit to learning. We have to commit to the apprenticeship. We have to commit to knowing the way so that we can show the way. We know the way, we go the way, and we show the way. We study, we practice, we teach. And if you can do that, everything else will start to fall into place. Okay? So, challenge number two, you just need to start to have systems of training in your team. That is where you step into your own leadership and you develop things in your team. Now, again, as I talked about like tactics and fundamentals before, things are going to change, right? Like Reels, Instagram Reels, TikTok, super hot at the minute, right? I'm no social media guru. I tend to, I work with Fraser Brooks and, I send a lot of people to him, which is awesome, but I still got to learn it. I've still got to study and practice social media Reels enough to a point where I can teach people to a point where I'm like, hey, look, I don't use a lot of Reels, but here's what I've found. I've found that if you do this versus this, I found that if I post this on Facebook versus posting this on Instagram, this is what I've found so far. Does anyone else notice that? Like I can put a reel on Facebook and get 50,000 views, and I put that exact same reel on Instagram and get 100 views. And then next week, I'll put a reel on Instagram that'll get 50,000 views, and I'll put the exact same reel on Facebook and get 0 views. Isn't that incredible? And then other times I'll put it on YouTube, like a YouTube short, and get thousands of views on YouTube. I did one on Instagram the other day that I got a heap of comments, all that kind of stuff. Put it on YouTube and it got 3 views. 3, like incredible, right? It got thousands on Instagram and it got 3 on YouTube. Isn't that incredible, right? But study, practice, teach. Study, practice, teach. I'm just going to know the way. I'm going to study and know the way so I can go the way, so I can show the way. So anyone else want to make that commitment now? Make the commitment here that they are going to commit to learning the skills so that they can teach the skills. So we've got to learn how to do it so that we can teach it. So the last thing I'll just say on hurdle number 2 is this is where you cannot look for shortcuts. Okay? Because if you look for shortcuts, what are you going to teach people? If you look for shortcuts, what do you then teach people? You don't know. Like, I don't know what to teach you because I haven't done it myself. Okay? Again, like we had this conversation, one of our mastermind members, and she's on here. I'm sure she won't mind me sharing this story. She was like, well, someone's messaged me recently the other day about if I pay them money, they'll send me leads on LinkedIn. And I was saying, well, the problem is, even if it works, what do you then teach? How do you teach your team that, hey, someone says to you, I've got $500 left. I want to join. I've seen the results you've got. You're making money. Come to me. But it's well, you need you need to pay this company to send you leads. Unfortunately, that's kind of part of the process. If we look to shortcut, we don't have anything to teach. Yeah, shortcuts aren't duplicatable. And I would love to recognize you, but you're just coming up as Facebook user. Sorry, still, because you got to give StreamYard your permission. I think I know who you are because you popped up before. But, okay, you were the first one to say that you're going to commit to that. And I know you're going to commit to it because I know you bought my leadership masterclass a little while back. So I know that. And you just won it. Let's spin that again, hey? VIP group. There you go. We'll add you into the VIP group. Send me an email and we'll add you into our group. So you get a month's membership into our VIP group and you can go through all the trainings are in there. If you do want to join that VIP group, guys, andrewlogan.net/VIP and all the details are in there. Yes. I don't want to learn your systems, please. Maika, is that how you pronounce your name? Because I need to talk. You are a perfect example. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. And I was just talking to Alicia about you yesterday. You are absolutely incredible. And it's funny that you're here because we're going to talk about hurdle number 3. Please tell me I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I really hope I am. But I know you are getting amazing, amazing results at the moment. Okay. Challenge number 1 and 2 are fairly simple. Okay. At the end of the day, fairly simple. Okay. You just need to go out and practice more. Basically, learn more, do more, and then turn around and teach more. And if you learn more and do more, you'll get to 125 enrollments, you'll get to 250 enrollments. And if you teach more, you'll teach your people how to find the right people, okay? You'll find the right people, those business builders, those leaders, they'll show you how to get onto their own little sort of training systems, into their own leadership development, etc. And then we go from there. I was just a bit distracted on how else would I pronounce Maika's name. Anyway, let's go to number 3. Now, number 3, this is the hard one. Okay, as I said, the first 2 are pretty simple. Number 3 is a gut punch. Okay, number 3 is that they don't believe in you. Now, we talked about it right at the start. That leaders don't follow. And leadership is a character trait, okay? Leadership is about who the person is over, at the end of the day, what they've produced. Production is level 3 out of 5, but real true leadership is developing the person, which comes from vision, which comes from teaching, okay? Someone said it right at the start. Being that example, empowering, inspiring. As I said, for me, work ethic, discipline. Someone said discipline. They lean into a challenge. They embrace challenges. They love challenges, okay? These character traits of leadership. Now, here is the problem. Is that if you don't have discipline, disciplined people won't follow you. If you don't have work ethic orientated people won't follow you. We talk about, the numbers of leaders and, that 1%, that 0.8% of leaders. Leaders aren't sitting around like these, these potential leaders They're not sitting around waiting for someone to offer them an opportunity, right? Leaders are pragmatic. They're in action. They're out there in action every single day, like doing stuff, right? They're not sitting around waiting for someone to offer them a business opportunity. When I was offered this business opportunity, I was investing property, I was learning currency trading, I was running a physio business, I was also writing a book on back pain. That's because I'm a weirdo. I'm one of those weirdos who's hardwired. Okay. So, yeah, it starts with you. Okay. Now, if you don't have vision, people won't follow people won't buy into your vision, right? So leaders don't follow, but leaders will align themselves side by side with other leaders. They definitely won't follow followers, but they will align themselves with other leaders. So if you want to be believed, you need to believe in yourself, right? If you want to have vision, talk about vision. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've moved, right? I've moved from where I normally do videos, and a couple of reasons for that were just, just with the kids and, setting up the study stuff for them as they get a bit older. We've moved to just a different part of the house. My wife painted this picture, right? She painted it 4 or 5 years ago for the kids. And it was all about this vision she had. So there's our pets. You can just see a couple of pets there. Actually, no, sorry, they're trees. Where are the pets? They're up there. You can't see them. They're behind the little flip chart there. And she had this vision of this beautiful house, and the pets would run around on these rolling green hills, and there would be this enormous tree in the house, right? Now we have that dream house. It's funny, like she painted that 5 years ago, 2 years after we found it, and we have like flanking either corner of our property these poinciana trees that are just enormous. Like people drive in and they just see these trees and they're just like, oh my goodness. Now we live on the side of a mountain, right? And then we've got all these rolling hills around us. So those trees are kind of holding the mountain together. But like, it's just, this vision, right? But coming back to the thing, like leaders aren't sitting around bored. Okay. Leaders aren't sitting around waiting for someone to offer them an opportunity. They need to believe in you. And if you don't have work ethic, if you don't show innovation, if you don't show commitment, if you don't show discipline, if you're not authentic, if you don't do what you say you're going to do, if you don't have those traits, they won't believe in you. Because as much as we sell products, as much as we sell business opportunities, as much as we solve people's problems, do you know what we really sell? What we really sell above everything else, above products, above solutions, above opportunities, above systems, above, blah, blah, we sell a little thing called the future. It's not even freedom, okay? It's the future. But what it is if you come with me, I will show you a better future. Now, again, for some person, that future might be, if you use these products, your pants will fit. If you use these products, your skin will glow. If you use these products, your hair will grow back. If you use this system, you'll be able to make $50 a week, right? But we sell the future. Now, people aren't going to buy into your future if they don't buy into you, okay? This is like the hardest part of leadership. And I say like leadership is a commitment. That's why it pays so well. Like if we want to talk about financial freedom, residual income for the rest of your life forever, like freedom, like you've got to make some investments. You've got to make some commitments, right? But people want to invest in you. So we talk about the law of the lid. Okay? Your lid, your own leadership, your own skills, the skills that you have developed, that you are teaching, your own personal development, your own leadership is the lid that will stop your team growing. Your team won't grow past that lid because you won't be able to attract these people because they're not attracted to you. And I know that's hard. And we hear about it, right? We hear every now and then that person who wins the lotto. And I remember seeing it right in the early days. I remember this couple, and I went to the gym with them, and they joined up with, it was the same company. They joined up and they enrolled 3 people. And those 3 people were all like, 4 percenters, 3.2 percenters, 0.8 percenters, right? They just hit the lotto. They were making $250,000 a year from 3 enrollments. But you know what? They never developed their financial mindset. They never developed leadership skills. They had won the lotto, but they never grew themselves to match their income. And the universe will always rebalance. So their leaders start hitting little dips in their businesses. Their leaders start hitting little roadblocks. Their leaders start hitting points where their business is just going a little bit flat. And they look to their upline, and their upline's like sitting on the beach, like, I don't know, like I took the shortcut, right? I have nothing to teach you. And unfortunately, not only did their business fall apart, but their life fell apart because they made some bad financial decisions. They got themselves in financial trouble. And once they stopped making $250,000 a year for doing nothing, these bad financial decisions they'd made came back and sort of bit them in the ass. So every now and then people will win the lotto. And we know that afterwards, most of them are broke. Every now and then people get that sports contract. They get that, $1 million, multi-million-dollar sports contract. And we know that most of them are broke 5 to 10 years later. Every now and then someone will come in and explode and like come out of nowhere, right? And have all these things going on. 6, 12 months later, we don't even hear from them. They've joined another company. They've quit. They've done something. We never hear from them again, right? Because their own leadership, their own personal development, their own skill set is the lid on their business. And it might like pop up every now and then, but the universe will eventually rebalance. So if you want innovative people, you need to lead with your own innovation. There is nothing worse. And again, like people message me like, why can't I find leaders? It's like, well, how many people have you enrolled? 7. Okay. First issue. Or you talk to people and they're saying, like I'm sitting around and like just no one's coming to me. It's like, well, what is less inspiring than sitting around waiting for someone to come to you? You're sitting around waiting, and these people in your team are waiting for you to do something. Game recognizes game above and below. Leaders recognize leaders above and below. So we always hear about the stories at events, and that someone will get up and they're like, I saw this person 17 levels deep, and I just saw something in them, and I grabbed them and I took them, and now they're making this, and I've like doubled my income, and everyone's like, wow, incredible, right? Leader recognized leader, game recognized game. But every day it's happening all the time, 24/7 every day, and we don't hear the stories of where someone's here 17 levels deep, and they look up and they say, you know what, I don't believe in that person enough to get to work. I don't believe in that person enough to want to do this industry. And because I'm a leader, because I'm pragmatic, because I'm innovative, because I've got discipline, because I've got all these skills, I'm just going to go off and find another vehicle. They'll just find a different vehicle, right? The hardest thing about a leader is keeping them focused. Again, like if you're a weirdo, like me, one of the hardest things is like staying focused on one thing, because you've got all these ideas and you're constantly like, what if I do this? What if I do this, right? You've got to be focused, and to be focused, you need to believe in someone who's going to show you the pathway. So again, this isn't an easy conversation at times, but if someone doesn't believe in you, they're not going to join you. So what is the cost of leadership? What is the commitment of leadership? What is the investment in your own leadership? It's how you show up every day. So again, study, practice, teach is my mantra for building a business. Be, do, have is my mantra for leadership. People always have it around the wrong way. People say, when I have more leaders, when I have more people, I will start doing the team calls and I'll be this great leader. When I have more people, I'll start investing in my business and I'll be a great leader. When I have more people, I'll start showing up to the trainings and I'll be a great leader. It is the other way around, okay? Everyone is waiting for someone else to go first. Your potential leaders, deep down, 17 layers deep or whatever, are waiting for you to go first. Who do I need to be? I need to be more innovative. I need to be more pragmatic. I need to be more reliable. Reliability is a massive one for me. And that's why it broke my heart last week to cancel the event. I was just that unwell, but it was like, no, you need to be reliable. You need to be reliable because you have told people, you've emailed people, you've posted it, you've put it on all your social media that you're going to be here at this time and you're not. Like that is unreliable, right? But it just like I couldn't physically do it. I couldn't physically get out of bed. But if you want reliable people, you have to be reliable yourself. If you want innovative people, you have to go out and innovate, grow, develop your systems, evolve them, and then you'll have them. If you want to be a great leader, you need to do the tasks of leadership, and then you will have leaders. And again, fairly simple. I like to keep things as simple as possible. Study, practice, teach, be, do, have. I mean, like if you take 6 words away from this event, take those 6 words. Just say, you know what, I need to study, practice, teach, and I need to be, do, have, because I don't want to be the lid on my business. Okay? I don't want to be the lid that stops my business from growing. Okay? Yep, like I said, people are always watching. People are watching you every day. And again, like that's what people would say to me, like I said it before, like, oh man, watch me. And I would. And I'd sit back and I'd watch them. And I'd watch them at events wandering the hallway instead of listening to the speaker. I'd watch them at lunch just completely disengaged with their team. I'd watch them looking for shortcuts. I'd watch them look for little secret ways around the compensation plan to make money without actually doing the work. And I'd watch them. And you know who else is watching them? All the people that they're bringing in. I remember being involved in, a company launch in the UK a couple of years ago. They had me sort of, driving around doing their launch in the UK for them. And there was this guy, and I remember he would send everyone in to the meetings that I was doing, and he would just sit in the bar and drink. And he was kind of like, being recognized because he was getting like these huge enrollments, but he was sitting in there, he was sitting at the bar drinking while everyone else was out there actually doing the work. And unfortunately, again, the universe rebalanced, right? And his business, 6 months later didn't exist. Now, I just want to talk about a couple of examples. So I talk about innovation. So recently a lady messaged me, Elizabeth. I don't know if she's on, but Liz, beautiful lady in the States. And she messaged me and said, look, I'm doing like a sort of team incentive. Could I buy 50 of your books? And I'm like, of course. And I'll like cost price, like 50 bulk order, cost price. I'll just send them to your door kind of stuff. And she said, look, while I'm here, like if I buy 50 and I'm going to use them for this incentive and people who qualify, I'm going to take them away for a leadership retreat. Like if I do that, and if I do that, will you come and speak at the leadership retreat? Like virtually, obviously, because they were in Florida and I'm in Australia. And it was like, of course, like I recognize your innovation. I recognize your ideas. I recognize what you're doing. Like leaders recognize leaders, right? Game recognizes game. Of course I will. And she got all these people to the event. She printed them like physical copies of my blueprint. She gave them all a copy of my book kind of stuff. And then and I was on that Zoom for about an hour and a half, 2 hours or so, like chatting away to them, okay, and doing this training for the team, because it was just like that initiative that she showed is so rare. It's so rare to have that initiative, but she got the results, right? She had 20, 25 people at a leadership retreat just in her own team. She led with innovation. She led with ideas. She didn't wait to be given permission. She didn't wait for someone to give her permission to do this thing. She just went and did it. And I was talking about Meiki before, right? So she sent me a message about a week ago and said, like, I've downloaded this DMO. And again, if you want this, just go to andrewlogan.net, free resources. Okay. It's a DMO tracker with little cheat sheet on the back. Okay. She said, but most of my team, English is their second language. Do you mind if I take your DMO tracker and I like translate it into like a different language so that my team can have it in their native language? Is that okay? And I was like, of course it's okay. That is completely 100% okay. Don't wait and ask for my permission there. Just go and do it. Like that is incredible innovation. Now, her sponsor messaged me the other day and it's like in the last 2 days, I think she's rank advanced 4 or 5 personally enrolled people in the last 48 hours. Incredible, right? Because she's leading with her innovation. What's she attracting? She's attracting other business builders. In 48 hours, she's had 5 business builders join her team because she went out and innovated. Okay? She went out and innovated and got something that was going to help, a tool, okay, a system, and she went and adjusted it. She evolved it because she's not a follower, she's a leader. Okay? And this again is going to work the other way. I was just thinking about it yesterday morning. I was at the gym, and this last little point, this lady I go to the gym with, and lovely lady, of course, we get along, but she's always complaining that she's not getting results. And I was watching her yesterday specifically because I was thinking about this event this morning. And the workout we had yesterday, it was like we're all warming up and she's standing around talking. Okay. And we all did the workout and it was like 10 rounds and she did 8. She was like, oh, I'm only going to do 8 today. And I was like, well, like, you're looking for the shortcuts, right? Who else is noticing? I noticed it. Everyone noticed that you were just taking shortcuts the whole way. So that's why you're not getting results, right? And you're complaining about not getting results. But if she was to turn around and open her own gym, like each to their own with her goals, right? But if she's going to open her own gym, how many people are going to follow? She's lovely, she's popular, but no one's going to go to her for gym advice because everyone's watching her cheat. Everyone's watching her look for shortcuts. Everyone's looking for, like, watching her cut corners, right? And instead of doing 10 rounds like the rest of us, she did 8. Now, the workout sucked. It was horrible, but we all did 10, And so what are you doing every single day that is stopping people from believing in you? What are you doing every single day that's making people just say, you know what, like, I don't know if I can believe in that person enough to commit my energy and effort? So that's a hard challenge, okay? But if you be and do, you will have. It might just take a little bit of time. Now, last little spin of the wheel, and Miki, it's going to be for you. Oh, sorry, I have my hand on the back there. Let's do a... There we go. Let's do a proper spin. Attraction marketing. I'm going to send you an attraction marketing program. So send me an email. I'm going to send you an attraction marketing program and help you blow up your business even further, although you're already doing a pretty good job yourself. So how are you? How are you all? We're coming right up on that 2-hour mark, which is really cool. We're going to wrap it up right here, just a couple more minutes. But I would love to hear your feedback on the big takeaway, the big light bulb moment that you have gotten out of today's call. I would love to hear your feedback. Like, what are the, what are you going to change? What are the commitments you're going to make? What are the sort of lessons that you've learned out of today's training? I would love to hear that. And then I'll just show you where you can get a couple more resources, and then we'll wrap up the call. So what was your biggest takeaway for today, or what is your biggest commitment to leadership going forward from here? All right, the hardest challenge. Yeah. Do as you say and be consistent. Consistency is just number 1, 2, and 3. And it's like that boil. That's why I like that boiled pot analogy, right? Like the second you take the energy away, it just goes off away. Numbers don't lie. Yep. Humans lie, unfortunately. Numbers don't. Hard work. Look, yeah, there's no replacing work ethic. And again, if you want leaders who have work ethic, lead with your own work ethic. Be do have. Yep, you're on the right track. Awesome. Great to hear. Be more team focused, Jax. Yeah. So we got to help the team, right? And it's about how many more people can you help. The depth of your compensation plan is based on how many more people you can help. So, guys, a couple of quick things just before we finish up. So thank you to everyone. Learn, do, teach. No shortcuts. Yes. Loving all this coming out top down. Yep. Yeah. Oh, Cedric, great one. So Cedric, I'll just pop in this before we go into the final sort of thing. So Cedric's saying, like, we can get caught up in, we've got to get the newcomers. And reality is there's systems. That's kind of that sort of permissional sort of base leadership where we've got to get all these people in, but we've got to get down deeper into this triangle, okay, if we're going to change our business. We have systems and that, and we're going to tour guide people through the systems, okay? We're going to tour guide them through. If they don't want it, you can only show them the door, okay? You can only show people the door. It's up to them if they want to walk through it. Yeah. So show them what to do. If it's not for them and they're in that 80%, but find out, test them, send them a PDF, send them this and just say, look, here's a free PDF. It's 10 pages. Read that. Let me know what you think. If they don't read a 10-page PDF that's free, then you're like, I don't know, I don't know what more I can do. Hey, actually, just super quick while we're on here. So this is really interesting, and I meant to bring it up earlier, but this is really interesting. Thank you, Janice. Thank you, Germa. So do you know what's interesting about this, right? And we talk about numbers. So customers tell me what to do. Okay, so I drink this, and then I shot that, and then I like shower with this. Okay, tell me what to do. Sharers, how do I tell me what to do? Okay, builders, tell me what to do, and I'll just do it at higher duplication, right? Same as boss versus employees. Leaders, I want to go off and do it my own way, right? Teach me how to do it, but I'm going to come up with my own ways. Show me the fundamentals, and I'll do it, right? So I have 2 free, and again, I'm so annoyed at this printer. Like, what a terrible job. Anyway, 2 free resources. Okay, now I created both of these side by side. This tells you what to do. Okay, just tick the box each day. Tick one box, just give me a number each day. Okay, tiny little cheat sheet on the back. This goes 10, 12 pages into how. This is what to do. This is how to do it. This is how to do it in like 250 pages, right? Now, these 2 are giveaways. So you just go to my website and get them for free, but I can track downloads. Guess which one gets 10 times the downloads than the other one? 10 times more people just say, you know what, I don't really care, just tell me what to do versus how do I do it. Now again, I just know those numbers. I know those numbers from doing this for 10 years. So I have systems for the people who want to be told what to do, and I have systems for the people who want to be told how to do it, and then I have systems for the people who really want to dive in, okay? Systems. That's how you grow a business. Now, speaking of systems, really super quickly, so we have window, where are we? Tab. Is it gonna? Okay. It's telling me I didn't give my own computer permission to share a screen. I have a leadership masterclass. I was going to show you a screen, okay? It's a 5 video series where we go into, basically it's a recreation of the leadership training that I used to do for our team, okay? So it's a leadership masterclass. It's a 5 video series. It's a recreation of the system that we had for leadership. I know some of you, IK's bought it. I know Helen's bought it as well. I'm pretty sure Helen's bought it. Normally it is $97. If you go in today and you put in legacy, so legacy, LEGACY, at the counter, the coupon code at the checkout, you'll get it for half price. So if you want to level up your leadership, go to andrewlogan.net/leadership and you'll be able to purchase that program. Okay, it goes through, it's 5 videos, they're 20, 30 minutes each or so, and I basically recreate the leadership training that we would do in our team, that we still do in our team. Okay, and if you put in the coupon code LEGACY, as I said, you'll get that for half price. So I did have a little picture of it, but you know what? Some things just don't work sometimes. So you go to andrewlogan.net/leadership, and if you put in the coupon code LEGACY, you can get that for 50% off, and that will run you through leadership. We go through some of this. You'll get, review this. You'll get sort of revision on that. You'll also get time management. So the time management of a leader. And we also start to go into the financial management. And again, when we talk about, financial freedom and teaching people not just how to run a business, but how to run their life, this was like a big thing for me. So we would teach leadership. We'd teach the 5 levels of leadership. I'd go into a lot more detail that I went today. We'd talk about some sort of numbers, but then we'd go into really like the time management strategies and the financial strategies so that people didn't just have a better business, they had a better life. Because to me, that was like super important. So the last thing, if you really want to commit, if you do really want to commit, and you're looking for some sort of higher level mentorship, higher level training, stuff like that. So we've got a number of our members like Janice on today, Tracy on today from our leadership program. Sal was on today as well from my elite mastermind team. Just send me an email, andrew@andrewlogan.net. I can show you how the application process for that goes, and you can come along and join that. So you get my phone number, you get my personal phone number, my WhatsApp, you get, Zooms, you get all our back office training, you get VIP group training, you get all the sort of like leadership masterclass, business launch, all the six-figure systems, all our financial mindset training, everything. But mainly the thing you get is you get my phone number. And you can ask me any questions anytime you want. Send them over WhatsApp. And unless I'm asleep, I'll respond to you, right back to you, and answer your questions and give you that mentorship, give you that tour guide. So you can shoot me an email and I can let you know how to access that and the application process. Otherwise, guys, if you got value out of this, greatly appreciate if you just drop a comment in. If you've got value out of this for your team, greatly appreciate it if you share it out, okay? Just hit the share button. So if you're watching this in the Way Out community, you'll see I've also shared it on my Facebook page, so you can share it out to your team. They can go through it all as well. They can go through and learn and listen in and go through the process and go through the numbers, find out where they are on the 5 levels of leadership, find out where they are on the numbers, all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, guys, that's all the training we're going to do this morning. I'm going to be back in another 6 weeks or so, and we're going to do some time management strategy. We're going to do some time management training because I know like leadership, time management, all those things are super important, area that a lot of people struggle with. And then we've also got a Boom in June sort of event coming along as well, where we're going to do like a 5-day business launch challenge. So keep your eye out on for that. Okay, so that'll be a Boom in June. Then we've got our Freedom Fest coming up in September. I just got to get a date for that. But yes, as always, if you've got value out of this, greatly appreciate it if you just share it out to your teams or drop a comment below, let me know, and I can, gets me up in the morning and helps me deliver more training for you guys. So have a great weekend, wherever it is, if it's Saturday night, if it's Sunday morning, whatever you're up to, and we'll see you all soon. Catch you then.